Hello everybody, Daily Daryl coming to you today in black and white. No, I'm just kidding. We're trying to get we thought we'd try a little new look here today, and we're going to be talking to Courtney McMahon from St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So if we'd like for you to go out and Courtney, we should have Courtney joining us shortly. Just thought we'd have a little fun there, trying some new things here at the first of the show. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining in today with us for Daily Daryl Discussions. As I said, we're going to have Courtney McMahon from St. Jude's joining us in just a second, and we're going to talk about this year's St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital Marathon weekend. That's a mouthful, and it's St. Jude, not St. Jude's, as I've been corrected several times. So I'm still working here to get Courtney on live with us, and so bear with us for 1 second. And we're still trying here. If I can. This is our first time using Facebook Live, and I have sent her. We normally use a platform called Blue Jeans, and it has been malfunctioning, so we thought we would try this way. And so we are adding Courtney, and there she is.
Got it.
Magic. Hey. Oh,
I know.
Man.
Sorry, this is my first time doing it this way, so I had to practice figuring it out.
That's okay. And just to let everybody know, Courtney was in a meeting, and she had to run out to her car. She's not driving, so don't get too upset about that.
I'm not.
She is so gracious to join us today, and I know your life lately has been a whirlwind, because guess what? It is St. Jude's week. It's time for all runners, all fundraisers to get signed up.
It is. I was going to say, I can't believe that we're here doing this again already, but we're so excited to kick off Memphis Marathon. Every year we try to make it bigger and better than the year before, and so far we're on track to do so. Yeah,
it's so awesome. I had watched, in preparation for today's show, I had watched last year's show, and I probably should have shared that this week, where we talked about the sign up last year. The sign up, we did this exact interview on the day of the sign up. So anyway, why don't you tell us, for everybody out there right off the bat, what they need to do if they want to run or participate in this year's 5K, 10K, half marathon, or marathon.
Yes, absolutely. So as you said, registration is open for all of these events. All you have to do is go to memphismarathon.org to register. And our prices are very good compared to a lot of other marathons. The full, I believe, is only 100. The half is 90. The 10K is only 45, and the 5K is 35. And I recommend, if you even think or haven't, thinking about doing this, go and do it, because the great thing about Memphis Marathon from our end is this event sells out so fast. The 10K normally is the one that first to get sold out. So I recommend, if you even are thinking about doing this, you won't regret running this race, I promise. But it's one that you should definitely get online and go get registered for.
Yeah, exactly. Don't wait. I know people that have gotten locked out before. So if the general registration sign-up date was, I guess, Monday of this week, that's when it started. When does when will it be full?
Normally I would say the 10K will probably be sold out. I would guess probably mid-July is when that gets sold out. And then the half will go after that. So I will say probably end of July is when the half gets sold out. So, and we say that every year, but it's hard to guess. So I would say, if you're thinking about it, I would say do it within the next 4 weeks or so at the latest, to make sure that you can reserve your spot. Okay,
well, I promised some people a huge announcement today, and I'm just going to start out the show with the huge announcement. And here it is. Here at Daryl T. Dixon Law, we are sponsoring our own team this year. And so we now have 3 members of our team right now. And so if you sign up this week or in the general registration, I would urge you to join a team, and it can be Daryl T. Dixon Law. Now, I will say this, we would be happy. We're still looking at the idea of joining with other people and making a much larger team. But our goal, if it's just Daryl T. Dixon Law, is to get between 10 and 15 runners. And the other thing is, if you're having trouble with the entry fee or whatever, we will pay it for you here at Daryl T. Dixon Law. And it doesn't matter if you run the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, or the full marathon. Like I said, we just want to get a big team. I noticed we have not raised any money yet, and we are in 525th place. So by the end of this week, I hope to have some momentum, and we're going to start climbing that chart.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, it's something we've been talking about and thinking about here for now. So anyway, the team has already started. My wife has joined. My sister will be joining, and we have another friend, Amy, who has already signed up, and maybe a few more on the way even before today. So if anybody's out there thinking about it and you want to have some fun and join a team from Western Kentucky and go down there and we'll run together. If it's too scary for you to do on your own, let's just all do it together, because it will, I promise you, it'll be the funnest run of your life.
I agree. And it's definitely one of the flattest courses out there too. So if that's any type of motivation for anyone to run it, if it's one of your first times, from someone who I've run quite a few, and the flatter, the better. So this is definitely one of the better courses to start on for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. It's basically I've done some 10Ks and 5Ks around Paducah, Kentucky, but nothing longer than that, like St. Jude. And it is flat. There is some downhills. There's lots of water breaks. There's the you can stop when you go through the campus.
Yep.
And talk to and see some of the kids and some of the parents and some of the staff, and that's really a rewarding time. But Courtney, can you tell us a little bit about, last year, a year ago, almost today, we had this discussion, and I was wondering what are the numbers from last year's race? How did we do?
Absolutely. So last year was a record-breaking year for us, and we raised over $10 million for this race. Wow. And that is one of the biggest, this event is one of the biggest fundraising events in the country that raises that amount of money. The cool thing about this race too is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is the only nonprofit that owns their own marathon. So we are the only nonprofit in the entire world that owns and operates and executes their own marathon, half marathon race of this size, which is really cool. And to see it continue to grow at the rate it's growing at. But to put that, $10 million in one weekend just blows my mind to even say that. So
wow.
So this year we're trying to go for 10 million and a half. So,
okay.
And we'd love to say, I think all of us have a stretch goal of 11 million. And I truly think that we're able to get there if we continue what we're doing. Okay.
So let's talk about the history for someone who doesn't know. And I know this will be my 5th year. And how far does this go back?
So last year was the 15th anniversary of this run. So we've been doing the Memphis Marathon for 16 years. And I remember we first started it was maybe 500 people, and we raised a couple $1,000s. And so just to think in 15 years, we've gotten all the way to 10 million is phenomenal. And it's so great. And I think to put it into perspective, the reason why we put these fundraising events on for St. Jude is so that no family ever has to pay anything, not for treatment, travel, housing, or food. A lot of cancer treatment bills. Just imagine going to open a bill in your mailbox and, for a chemo treatment for your 5-year-old was $10,000. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be able to write a check for that pretty easily. So to take that completely off the table, and that $10 million that we were able to raise that weekend went to support and help so many families.
Wow. Once again, as I did last year, I'm getting goosebumps because I started thinking about how no child gets left behind. And no family ever has to pay a bill. And, it's got to be the hardest experience of their life anyway, to have a child with cancer. And for them to know that, hey, on top of this, I'm not going to have the financial stress of medical bills that just build and build and build and build. And I think that really is the spirit of this race. And it's what keeps people coming back year after year.
Absolutely. And like you said, I think you run right through the hospital campus, and you have all the patients out there with their IV poles and everything out there cheering you on. And I've had so many grown men sit there and say, I just run through there just bawling. Because it's so powerful, because yes, you're running a race, but what you are doing and that race that you're running is helping so many of these kids that are out there battling for their life every day. So it's just, I think the one thing that when I've run that race a couple times, and when I was ready to quit, I just thought of that moment, like, these kids are battling cancer. I could do a few more miles. I think I got it
Absolutely.
in me.
And I think if you talk to anybody that's ever trained for this race, when the going does get tough, when it is those last 3 or 4 miles or that bad day of training, if you
Yep.
think of those kids and what they're going through, I mean, it'll get you going again. I mean, it'll just, because there's nothing we're ever going to go through in a run or a training run that's going to in any way compare to what they're going through every day. So it's really a source of motivation.
Oh, 100%. So I think that's just thinking of that is so great. And that this just race is, it's one of my favorites. And I think many people who run this come back year after year after year, which
Yeah.
is so cool. And whereas a lot of half marathoners and marathoners just, kind of bucket list races, one and done, but this is one where our runners continue to come back because of the powerful meaning behind it.
Yeah, and it's in a perfect time of year because it's not going to be hot, it's not going to be too cold. It's the weekend after Thanksgiving,
Yep.
so it'll be December 1st this year.
Can run that turkey off.
Yeah, you can run the turkey off, and you can get right into the spirit of giving, and it helps you stay in shape during the holidays. Is another benefit of it.
Yeah, and
So,
I'll say last year, I just remember the weather we couldn't have asked for better weather, and so
no,
it's like you said, it's the perfect time of year to do it.
Perfect. It's perfect time. So, how many runners? I know that the amount of money raised every year has gone up, but I think also the amount of runners, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. So last year we were up about 4,000 runners year over year. And so we had about 25,000 people total register for this race.
Wow.
And this year, and it's each year we want to take as many as we can, but just like any race, you have capacity that you have to handle. And so this year we've cleared enough space for 30,000 runners. So we're hoping to get up to that amount. And hopefully that we won't have to say we're sold out, that we have a little bit more time to let more people in. But 30,000 people is what we're looking for this year.
Okay. I was adjusting my camera there, trying to get on the same height that you're on. I'm not the greatest photographer. So last year we had an additional 4,000 runners from the previous year.
Yes, believe it or not. Did it feel like that out there?
It did. It did. But I'm kind of, they have two halves of the race, the upper 50% and the lower 50%, and I'm the percent that makes the upper half possible. And so back where I run, it doesn't get too crowded because we're moving pretty slowly, and just excuse me, and we're as you come down the stretch, it's all like a group effort because everybody's hurting a little bit, and unless you're real professional runner type or whatever. But it's kind of fun back there at the back.
Yes, I'll say it is. There's no pressure to keep up with the person in front of you.
That's right. And I got stomped by my wife last year, who ran a personal record. And I had actually beaten her the first year. So
really,
and so all the bragging rights I have are now gone, and probably gone forever because she runs about 4 days a week. So back to St. Jude's, the children. So I thought one of the most interesting stats that I'd ever heard when I toured the hospital is that a lot of donations come in quarters, nickels, dimes, and whatnot. It's not always, the corporations writing out the millions of dollars of checks. It's people sending in envelopes of change, that no donation is too small.
Absolutely. So that's something that we're really proud of, is that our average donation is $40. So that includes those huge gifts that we get. So I always say, if you know anyone who could write me $1 million check, for sure, let me know. But I think our motto and what we've really prided ourselves on at St. Jude is that we would rather have $1 from 1 million people rather than $1 million from one person, because it truly is the people's hospital. So it's important that the people that send in $20 a month, $25 a month, they are the reason that those hospital doors are open. It's those people that take that small chunk out of their paycheck and send that in every month that allow those doors to St. Jude to be opened every day.
That's so awesome. And again, I wanted to remind everybody, I'm talking to Daily Daryl Discussions. We're back with Courtney McMahon, second year, almost to the date. She's from St. Jude's Children Research Hospital. and she organized and helped put together teams for the race this year, and many other races as well. But the one we're talking about is the St. Jude Marathon weekend. It's December 1st this year in Memphis, Tennessee, home of the Blues and home of barbecue. And
yes.
So, and please share this out, and any of your comment. I'm looking on my computer here to make sure there's no comments just yet. But if you have any comments or questions for Courtney, please put them there, and I can give them over to her, and we can move on. But please share this out on your own platforms, and so we can get the word out and get as many people. I did announce at the start of the show there's going to be a team this year, the Daryl T. Dixon Law team. If you can't afford the entry fee, we will pay it for you. And we're going to maybe do a little training together, but we're definitely going to run that first Saturday in December together as the Daryl T. Dixon Law team. And we're looking for small donors, big donors, whatever we can get. And we're really going to get. Right now we have a team number. We have 4 people on our team. And there's a bunch of good runners in this town that go. And I'm after every one of them starting today.